Picture this. You created your own Microsoft 365 agent to help with your travel plans. It works so well that your company wants to integrate it in their own processes and agents that are core and fulcrum for their businesses. But how do we do that? Do we really have to rebuild an agent again from scratch? Hi, I'm Bruno and welcome to the Power Minutes. On today's episode, we're going to have our M365 agent that needs to become part of an already existing Copilot Studio project. The reason behind it is pretty simple. Our agent has become so fulcral that our company wants to make sure that it follows proper application lifecycle management and that it can connect to other agents. And guess what? Neither of those requirements are achievable using M365. So we need to migrate our agent. Fortunately, Microsoft has made it easy for us with a dedicated feature just for that. So, before we begin, I have our requirements already open. One of the things I'll have to say beforehand, and let me just open, is as of recording this video, there is a known issue with the new interface, and it doesn't support this feature currently. So if you are on the new interface, please go ahead and before starting, make sure you disable the new interface. It just got completely revamped, so it's likely that one of two things gets, uncaught. So make sure you are on the classic interface before you begin. And now that we have it ready, let's go ahead and check our M365 agent. So within your Copilot, you might see it within here, within agents. I had mine pinned here. Make sure you find it before you begin. Within the ellipsis, so that's the three dots where it says more, you click on it, and then you click on edit. We already were on this page, so you won't see it navigate anywhere, but on the top right, you'll see another set of ellipses. And on there, you click it and you check and you have the copy to Copilot Studio. We can click on it and you should see a dialog box pop up highlighting what it can migrate. So we have the standard basic features, the name, the icon, descriptions, instructions, and even suggested prompts, along with the enterprise knowledge and the SharePoint and website sources. However, and you can see it very broadly just saying here that some features will not be included. We're talking about the uploaded files, the team and Outlook knowledge sources, the sharing settings, image generations, and some other actions. You can read more about it by clicking on the link to get a better grasp. However, in a very generic way of looking at it, most of these limits have to do with the fact that we are migrating into a Power Platform environment, which may have different configurations per environment. Since we are cloning or even deploying an action in the Power Platform must have a 100% success rate, meaning that one thing cannot be left behind, it's hard to predict all of these configurations, therefore they are left out and must be recreated manually on the final Power Platform interface, that is to say within the Copilot Studio. So with that out of the way, all we have to do here is find a new home for our new agent. So let's click on Get Started and let's check here for Power Minutes. Let's go. All right. That's where we want to do it. Feel free to read more about it, but we want to continue. This process will be generally very, very quick. May take just a few seconds like you can see. But you notice one thing right out of the bat. Our Weather Planner agent is now Weather Planner copy. This will happen, so this suffix, this copy will show on any agent that you migrate from M365 to Copilot Studio, and this is helpful because it will help us prepare and practice to review the agent before we start migrating it. So I have a prompt just stored here in my notes, so I can go ahead, I can go over here and let's say I am going to the EPPC in Copenhagen. I will say on the week of the 29th, how should I prepare my clothes? And our expectations is that it behaves similar to our agent that we have on M365, which was looking at AccuWeather. So you can see it's behaving as expected. All right, we have some values. All right, light rain, warm outwear, rain protection. Okay, the weather between 2022 and 12/14. All right, there's rainy days. So while we are at it, let's also test it on the other side. So we haven't done it on our example, but our expectations is that it behaves very similar. And you can see, okay, it words it a little bit different, but you can see you get the same idea. Temperatures between 17 and 22, it's getting colder on the evenings. Layering is key, getting your accessories such as umbrella. So we have the basics going. So I am happy with this version of my agent. I can see that what was migrated is pretty much on par with what we had. It's pretty much a copy and paste from where it can clone. So we end up clicking on copy. All right. So it's going to take a few seconds, and now, like any other Copilot Studio agent, it's ready to do so. I have already another copy on the back burner, so don't mind the second two. Let's then look at the rest of the scenario. So we already tested it, we are comfortable, we press create. So what we can do, there's a few things worth wrapping up. Your agent was copied, not migrated. So the M365 version still exists. You can see this is my second copy, but if we refresh the page, the weather planner still exists, self-sufficient as it did before, meaning that we can take as much time as we need to go into Copilot Studio and tune it as we need, because now we have several agents to pick from. We have a few other things to consider because we're gonna do one final effort, which is this should be part of another agent. We already tested this agent working self-sufficient is pretty good. Now we need to do one last effort. We need to include it on an already existing agent. So how can we go ahead? So we have our other main agent, the agent we want to complement with our agent that we just migrated. And as you can see, the work travel agent is a traditional, hey, make sure you follow the guidelines, make sure you identify travel needs, guidance, the discussions of per diems or reparations in terms of payment because people are going to be abroad and so on. Okay. And one of the things we need to do, it's very straightforward, and we did it on a previous example. I'm just going to delete this here and do it again with you, is actually, let me just actually delete it so we can start from scratch. So we go on the overview, we scroll down, and you'll see your agents over here, and we're going to add an agent. Now, we're not going to create a child agent. We are looking for the weather agent that we just migrated. Let's see that it's a little bit buggy with the search. So if we search weather planner, we have it over here. And you can see that helps users plan their travels, blah, blah, blah. So it's already improved as it tries to figure out some of the context based on the agent. And we just need to add and configure. Okay, we have our weather planner. Great. So now, one time worked well as a separate agent, but now we need to understand, okay, now what about the agent within agent? Will it work straight out of the gates? It's all likelihood that it will, so let's press in send. It will begin thinking, and you should see within the agent scenario, it immediately picked up and delegated to the weather planner agent without much effort. On your scenario, it might be that you need to reinforce this behavior a little bit more. Say when this action happens, go and reinforce that you should be using that agent. But as you can see, it's still working. It's asking the agent to, well, do what it's meant to do. And we'll just wait a little bit. And there we go. So we're using another agent to fulfill, so its design is going to be a little bit different, but you can see that the weather is pretty much within expectations, the 22 degrees. We have right here, we have our accommodations, so conference, semi-formal wear, but make sure you bring some shoes that fit both the weather and the event. Consider bringing something for the rain. So yeah, there you have it. A way to bring your Microsoft M365 agents to a new level of quality and make sure that all the investment your citizen developers and other employees may have done is not completely discarded, because now we need to do it in a more managed way. All right, now with this out of the way, go ahead and improve the ways you have of working. Make sure you are applying ALM on all the agents that you can. See you next time.